Hello folks, it's Phil at Digital DJ Tips, and I want to talk to you today about the Akai Pro AMX mixing console for Serato DJ. We've been playing with this for a week, and the longer you mess with this little unit, the more you realise it's an awesome piece of kit, and it's something that I think is going to sell in the droves to Serato users. And I'm going to show you, hopefully in this video, a few of the reasons why we found it so much fun. But before we take a look at it in action, let me just tell you what it is. It's a small, lightweight, quite attractive, plastic build, but quite pro feeling. It's got all the same knobs on it that you see on the NS7 II from Newmark, which is a sister brand to Akai Pro. So it's got a really nice feel to it. Very lightweight, and it's got proper VU meters on it. It's got crossfader, 2 full channels, and some transport controls to control the transport in Serato. But it's also got some stuff on which makes it truly fun. Let's look on the back. There's obviously an audio interface built into this because we've got some audio ins and outs. There are 2 line phono ins. Now I'll talk to you more about those in a minute. There's also RCA out, there's a headphone socket on the front here, and lots of little pro touches that make you realise that this is probably going to be a bit of a performer. There's individual VU meters for each channel and also for the master output. There's little things like a crossfader curve, crossfader reverse switch, hamster switch, a crossfader curve down here, an inner fader, mini inner fader built into it, and touch sensitivity on these controls. I'll show you that in a minute. So you can press a button and these become touch kills, and there's some pretty cool filter effects and so on. So we're looking at a mixer, a software mixer for Serato software. It's not a hardware mixer, even though it's got inputs for line and phono inputs. We'll get onto why it's got those in a minute, but it's not a standalone mixer. You unplug your computer and this thing goes off because it has no external power at all. It's only powered from your computer, and it needs Serato DJ software running in order to work. That's the first thing to say about it. In a lot of ways, it's very similar to this, the Tractor Control Z1 or Z1 for our American friends, and which again is a 2-channel mixer with an audio interface built in that relies on being plugged into Tractor. Both of these effectively control the internal mixers in their respective softwares. This one goes further in that it also has some transport controls. Now that's quite important because unlike this, which hasn't got any control over play, pause, cues and so on, this has at least a bit of rudimentary control, but also this one goes further because these sockets on the back where you plug in your line and phono inputs control DVS. So this is a digital vinyl system as well for Serato. And that makes it the cheapest DVS on the market, about $250 to buy this unit, and then you have to spend $100 on upgrading Serato DJ. The Serato DJ software comes with this, but you need to spend $100 on the upgrade in order for this to work with your existing decks or CDJs. But once you've spent that $350, this little mixer can sit between your existing decks, between your CDJs, and it can be the heart of a DVS system. Now, scratch DJs are going to love that. It's really slim, and it's got an inner fader built in, so it feels awesome. The only thing would be that it's very shallow, so you're going to want to stand to put it on. Once you plonk that between a pair of decks, it's going to feel pretty diminutive. But that really is its strength, because this is the first unit to unlock Serato. Now those of you guys who use Serato will know that without a controller or something licensed plugged into it, it doesn't look like DJ software. It's only got one deck. There's no, you can't do anything with it other than listen to your tunes, maybe add cue points, all that kind of thing. Plug one of these in and suddenly Serato works as a full piece of DJ software, and you can control a lot of it straight from this surface. Think hotel rooms, think on a plane, think sat anywhere where you've got half an hour and your laptop with you. Well, now you can plug your headphones in and work on your mix with Serato in a way that's just not been possible. What a great use case. That's why we're excited about it. I'm going to plug it in now and show you how it works, talk you through some of the controls and show you it being used in internal mode and also used as a DVS system with both decks and CDJs. So I've plugged in a USB to the computer, and that's put Serato into its online mode, and I've plugged in some audio in the back here as well. Nothing else at the moment. I'm just using this totally in its internal mode, so the record deck and the CDJ you see are here for later on. So how does this work if you just want to control Serato from the one unit? Well, The browse button will let you find a track, and then when you found a track that you like, you can just hit the deck load button to pull it onto that deck. In order to find your first cue point, you can hold the search button here and then scrub through the tune, choosing where you want to start. That I think is a little bit clunky. I'd like to see some kind of way of scrubbing far more coarsely through the tune, and then that's more like a fine scrub to find the first beat or something. But anyway, when you found it, you hit your cue point and you're ready to play. So when we're off and playing, all the usual stuff that you would expect is here. We've got nudge. So to nudge, it's the same action as setting a cue point as scrubbing or searching. You hold down this button here and turn the browse button. This way it's like nudging a jog wheel anti-clockwise, and this way is like nudging it clockwise. And that way you can manually beat match, although as I say, I think most people will be using the sync buttons here. So off and running, what else have we got? Well, we've got the usual bass, mid and treble. We've also got a really nice filter. We also have this control here, which is really addictive. It's a touch control, which turns these 4 controls into touch sensitive controls. So we've got kills going on here, bass kill, treble and mid to cut the sound totally. And this is a filter roll. And what that's doing is applying a loop and a filter at the same time. And the more away from center you go, the shorter the loop is. And then when you take your hand off, it carries on from where it would have been. So there's a slip mode in there as well, which is really nice. You know, it's addictive, it's good fun. So that's kind of like the transport controls, the EQs and mixer controls. You've got the full headphones here to plug your headphones into the front, the headphone mix and headphone volume. And that's pretty much all there is to show you about this as an internally mixing unit, controlling Serato with nothing more. But of course, there is more to it, and I've told you about it already. It's the DVS. So by plugging in a couple of external units, in this instance I've got one CDJ and one turntable, just to show you how this works. This is going to be, I think scratch DJs are going to like this purely because it's so small, so you can tuck it between your turntables. You need a stand to bring it up to height, but you know, it's not big. It's not like plugging a DVS enabled controller and your turntables are so far away you can't reach them. You know, it's really small, so that's a plus point for scratching with it. So now we have turntable and CDJ plugged in. Now to switch those on, just hold down the shift button and press DVS on both channels, and it's now switched them into DVS mode. I'm going to squash this up so you can see a bit more closely what's going on here. So now this deck here is controlling deck A. There's nothing loaded on deck A, so I'm just going to pull something up there. So now we've got full control here, including our pitch and play pause and so on. It's a full DVS system basically. Nothing unusual there, but also pretty brilliant if you want a DVS that's tiny and that's got its own built-in mixer. Here is the vinyl version. Stick a bit of control vinyl on. And we've now got control of the track that we were using internally a second ago. And this is in absolute mode. So very, very easy and very easy to switch between the two. You can quite easily mix a tune in on external gear and internal gear, all as part of your mix being recorded. But I could also take a piece of normal vinyl and throw that onto here as well. And then by selecting through mode, which you have to do on the software itself, you can't do that from the unit. So we now have some vinyl playing here, real vinyl. Real music. I could put a real CDJ in there, playing real music, not digital timecode. And this is all going through Serato. So I've got my EQ, got my filters and stuff, and it's all being recorded in the mix as well. So now I've gone from internal to DVS to real vinyl, all being recorded as part of my mix and all through this tiny little unit. So that's a pretty powerful thing, and it makes it very flexible. Now there's a few things that I don't like about it. I've already told you one of them, which is that the manual pitch control is very coarse. So, you know, a couple of clicks is kind of 0.8 of a BPM. You really want that to be down to about a 50th of a BPM to do manual beat matching accurately. I'd like to see them sort that out. This control, the crossfader curve control, just sticks out the end and there's no way of tucking it in. I just think that's a candidate for being accidentally snapped or bent, which isn't so good. And I don't like the scrub because it's too fine. As I said, you know, I want to be able to scrub very quickly through a tune using a unit like this. But this is paired in their range with another unit, the AFX, which does address at least the scrubbing problem because it's got a big touch strip on it. Look, $250, you're getting a unit that will unlock Serato, an extra $100 for the software add-on. It will let you use your existing decks and CDJs, and you can use it as a pseudo standalone mixer. You can play normal music straight through Serato using Serato's effects and filters and so on, and record the results as part of a bigger mix, which I think makes this an awesomely flexible little unit. Now this was your cheapest in. It's the Rain SL2 box, and it was your cheapest way of getting DVS before this thing came along. This is about $500. You get the vinyl with it and you get the CDs with it. If you buy one of these, you're going to have to go and buy timecode vinyl or burn some timecode CDs to control your CDJs or to put onto your record decks. But still, this is now the cheapest way of getting DVS with Serato. And of course, you buy one of these, unless you already own a mixer, you're going to have to buy a mixer to use it as well. And it's all more complicated to set up. This is, as I hope you've seen in this video, really simple to get going. So there you go, the Akai Professional AMX mixing surface for Serato, DVS, audio built in, and the full reviews at digitaldjtips.com. Thanks for watching.